Welcome to another video. And here we're going to be talking about the selection tools inside of 3DSMAX. And first things first is we're going to go to our main toolbar, right? And if we click on our selection regions here, where you might see the marquee, if you click and hold, you get 5 selection region tools, right? And this is because you're selecting a region. So the marquee, right, is the typical default where you can drag select, say half of this area, and it selects them. I could also use the elliptical, right, which does a circular area, and we could change it to the third one, which is the fencing. And this one here is pretty cool. We can click and drag out a fence, and then double click when we're done, and we get this kind of polygonal selection, basically is what it is. And then we have the lasso, which is really nice. This one here, I could click and drag around and select certain ones. So here I'm just selecting these two. So same thing, right? I could just come down, select around. I got this row of knobs. I could press Control to add to my selection. And I'm going to press Control again. And here, you know, it's just nice and easy, good to use. The last but not least is the spray. And this one is, if you click and drag, you'll see that you get the circle icon, and it will select whatever, you know, it encases. So it has to be bigger than the object. So if I only go halfway, it's not selecting it. But if I walk all the way over it, it selects it. So you'll notice it doesn't select these big circle ports because they're too big, and it's not selecting the board, right? So if I zoom out a little bit more, right, you'll see now I have a bigger circle. I can select these now, but it will not select the board because the actual board itself, this mixer board, the whole frame, it won't select it. I'd have to zoom all the way out, and then you'll see, oh, now it's selected. So not always the best tool. We can also just click to select our object. So there's our board, a knob, a push button, a light, right? Pretty easy, self-explanatory. And you got the little drop-down corner arrow. So next up, we have selection region. And this one's really interesting. So currently, I have crossing mode. This is crossing mode. And if you hover your mouse over it, you'll get a description, and you can read that. Right, but here's the deal. If I click and drag, and I'm just crossing over, you'll notice it selects the board, and it also selects this whole thing here, okay? So anything that I'm dragging over, it's going to select. Now, if I change this to window mode, and I drag over, it's only going to select one, and that's this screw, because it's fully inside the window. Because it's fully inside the window. So if I wanted to get this circular plug-in as well, I'd have to go over furthermore to select it. So I can use window or crossing mode with any of the selection regions, but it has to be within the window. So see, if I just go through it like this, it'll only select the screw and not this circular plug-in. Okay? So this is only if you select the whole thing. So if I select all in here, it'll select these 3 pieces. Right? Or I could do like this, right? And then see, it won't select these because it has to be within the window. So that's really nice to know. Sometimes this glitches where you'll think it's on crossing mode, but it's not, and it's glitching. And then you can just turn it on and off, and then redo your selection, and you should be good to go. So that's for the main toolbar. So we also have, if we have something selected here, and don't forget, if you click spacebar, it'll turn this lock or toggle it on and off, and then I can't select anything. I try to click and drag, it just won't let me select anything. It'll take my current object and allow me to move it, but I can't actually click any other objects. So we'll have to turn that off. So now we go into our edit poly. We will have a selection rollout right here. And this rollout is specifically for selections. So we have, do you want to select vertices, right? And that puts us in vertice mode. Do you want to select edge mode, borders, polygon, or element, right? And let's just do polygon mode, and you have some things here. You can select by vertice, you can ignore backfacing, or you could select by angle. So if I turn on ignore backfacing and I drag select, if I rotate around, you'll notice it doesn't select the other back polygons because it's ignoring the back facing ones that are facing away from us. Also in this selection rollout, it tells us we have 111 polygons selected. So here, if I have these 2 polygons selected, you see it says 2 polygons selected. Now where this gets weird is if you only have 1 polygon selected, it tells you what the number is. So every single polygon is numbered. So this is polygon, 1 polygon, but it's number 169. This one is 343. Right. This one is 123, 105, 104, 103. Right, so you can see each one of these has a number assigned to it. But if I drag select more than 1 polygon, it'll tell you how many you have selected because obviously it's more than 1 polygon. So you have some previewing your selection, whether you want that preview off or you want to have sub-object, tells you what's selected, what's highlighted, or multi if you have this applied to multiple objects. So with our selection tools, we also have edges. If we're in edge mode, you can utilize ring or loop. Right, so ring selection, if I click ring, it selects a ring of edges. Control Z that. So ring, they are parallel. If I select loop, the loop is all the edges are touching and they're in a loop together. They're like a think of a, well, that's not a good example. But you see visually what it is. Now, if you have anywhere there's a change in geometry, the loop will get broken. So right here, because of the polyflow variation, the loop stops right here. But if I select this edge and I do loop, there's no polygons affecting it. So it loops all the way around nice and smoothly, right? So I could do the opposite direction and still do loop, right? Control Z, or I can do ring. Control Z. So we have ignore backfacing on. I like to keep that off, but it can be useful at times. Polygon mode. We also have, if you wanted to select a specific area, you can use your grow and shrink to make that easier. So we have grow and shrink. And that can be really useful in a lot of cases. We also have similar tools up here at the top. So if we are in, depending on which mode we're in, but polygon mode, we have a few things up here. So our modeling ribbon, you will have some things with grow and shrink, but it's under modeling. Oddly enough, that it's weird that it's not under the selection rollout, but this is modify your selection, but it's under the modeling tools. So kind of interesting. But selection here, you can select, non-quads, open areas, tops and bottoms, right? You can store and save your selections. We can say we want to select a concave or a certain amount value. We can select whether if something is on the X, Y, or Z. We could select 25% random. So 25%, we'll click the arrow. We're just going to select random 25% of this board, which is really interesting. So we could change that even to 50%, and it's random by random. Ta-da! And I could just clicking it if I wanted to get random numbers, but that is that percentage. Another really useful tool is the Isolate Selection tool. So if we come in here and select, say, just our knobs, at the bottom here by the lock, we can click Isolate Selection, also the shortcut Alt-Q, and I can isolate just my knobs. So if I wanted to just work on my knobs or be able to see them, or even just work on the board, I could isolate the board. And all I have to do is click this back off to go back, or you can also right click and you can also find it, Isolate Selection and End Isolate in our right click menu. This is also called the quad menu. There's also saving your selections. This can be useful for saving your selections of objects or saving your selections for polygon mode, or edge mode, vertice, or border. And I'm just going to click in here on the main toolbar for the save selections and type in buttons. And I'm going to press enter, and there we have it. So we can click our manage selection sets, and this shows you currently I have buttons. And just so this isn't so confusing, I could also create another category for plugs. So now I have buttons and plugs. Now let's just say with my buttons, if I want to select my buttons, all I have to do is go up here and click the drop down and select buttons. But let's just say I forgot, these are actual push buttons too. So what I can do is I'm just going to go ahead and click these buttons that are push buttons. And let's just say I want to add them. So I have to come over here and I have to click buttons. I have to click the plus symbol, and you can see here's all the knobs, buttons, and there is the plus sign to add selected objects to this group. So we click add, and then you'll notice here we have our other push buttons. Push button 11, 10, 9, 8, and orange and regular. So now we've added that to our group. So now if I come up here and select buttons, it selects all of my buttons. So really useful for grouping or saving your selections, because I could select those using my selection sets, and then I could isolate them, and then there's all my push buttons. So a lot of variation here of tools that you could use.